Hare Krishna. So, today I want to tell you a very interesting story from the past. It is a past history of India, or it is a story from the past history of India. India, or Bharatvarsha, has always been the land which has inspired people from all walks of life to seek some meaning to their life, to have some spiritual aspirations, spiritual goals, to try and understand spiritual subject matters. In fact, sometimes in humor, it is said that India has spirituality to offer to the entire universe. And when you think spiritual, then somehow or the other it seems there's a red cross like that, crossed out, no material. So India being the land of spirituality, the mistaken connotation of that is the understanding that we reject materialism, which is not actually true. Spiritual science is an understanding of life, where you live life such that your material pursuits can bring you some kind of satisfaction and much more. So if one has some needs of hunger or taste, thirst, or desires to engage the sense of sight in seeing something wonderful, then the principles of spirituality help us live through all of that and still be free from distraction, be free from unwanted baggages in life, unwanted emotions in life, negativity in life. That is what spirituality is about. Unfortunately, in the present times, a lot of people consider spirituality to be the path that negates material life. Spirituality is all-inclusive. That is what being spiritual means. To know that everything has a source, Bhagavan, God, and therefore every single atom in our existence that we can perceive has the energy of the Lord. So how can we be narrow-minded? Spiritual beings are never narrow-minded. In fact, they are the only people on this planet or in the universe that actually have a very inclusive vision and perspective. And spirituality also brings forth our innate or dormant courage to live life or to practice our values without feeling uncomfortable about it. Because That gives you that feeling of being sheltered, protected, like someone is always watching over you. It's like having this feeling of being under good insurance policy, a very safe insurance policy. So India, or Bharatvarsha, the land of the celestial rivers like the Ganga, the Yamuna, the Godavari, Krishna, the Bhadra, Tungabhadra, Tapti, Brahmaputra, the land of these enchanting mountains, the Himalayas, the Vindhyas, Sri Giriraj Govardhan, the Malaya Parvat, the Nilagiris, the blue mountains of Nilachal Dham. What is enchanting about them? What makes these rivers so celestial? Because since time immemorial, through various generations, every generation, there is this faith that this is a tract of land, these are the waters, these are the mountains that has received the intimate touch of the Supreme Lord and his devotees. When the Lord appeared for establishing the principles of religion. That is a land where we worship the peepal tree because it represents Lord Krishna. We worship the Ashwatha tree, the banyan tree, because it represents existence. It represents the universal energy. We worship Mother Tulsi. We worship the Bela fruit, the Bela leaves. We offer betel leaves to the Lord. Istanbul. And that is the land where since generations, since thousands of generations, wonderful souls have left behind a legacy of what it means to be happy worshipping the Supreme Lord. We call them saints. Lord Shri Krishna he appeared and he appeared about 5,000 years ago. And he gave this nectarian philosophy in the form of Bhagavad Gita. This is one of the verses from Srimad Bhagavad Gita, chapter 12. What does he say here? I've put it up on the screen so all of us can chant this. Samahashutrau cha mitre cha
Samahashastrau cha mitre cha
Tatha manapamanayoha.
Tathamanapamanyoha
Shitoshna sukha-dukkeshu.
Shitoshna sukha-dukkeshu
Samasanga vivarjita.
Samasanga vivarjita
Tulyaninda stutir mauni.
Tulyaninda stutir mauni
Santushto yena kenachit.
Santushto yena kenachit
Aniketa sthiramatir.
Aniketa sthiramatir
Bhaktiman me priyo naraha.
Bhaktiman me priyo naraha
One who is equal to friends and enemies. Please repeat.
One who is equal to friends and enemies
Who is equipoised in honor and dishonor.
Who is equipoised in honor and dishonor
Heat and cold.
Heat and cold
Happiness and distress.
Happiness and distress
Fame and infamy.
and infamy
Who is always free from contaminating association.
Who is always free from contaminating association
Always silent.
Always silent
And satisfied with anything.
and satisfied with anything
Who doesn't care for any residence.
Who doesn't care for any residence
Who is fixed in knowledge.
Who is fixed in knowledge
And who is engaged in devotional service.
and who is engaged in devotional service
Such a person is very dear to me.
Such a person is very dear to you.
Let us look at this. Is it difficult? Is it difficult to become dear to Krishna? Equal to friends and enemies. Is that difficult? What do you say?
Yes.
Why have friends and enemies? Just have friends. Does it become difficult then? Does it become difficult? Would you want to wake up every morning and say, okay, today whom do I make an enemy of? Is that a good life? Or should we kind of think that, all right, let's make a friend today morning? Which is a better thought? What would you like to do? Friends. Do you think anyone in the sane mind would want to kind of walk out and, who wants to be my enemy? Shout out like that. So you see, there could be a misunderstood narrative that it is difficult to be equal to friends and enemies. It is not. All you have to do is have the thought that I need not discriminate. Is it difficult to have a thought like that? I mean, what does it take to have a thought like that? Can't I be happy with my own thoughts? Do I have to ask somebody else, pay them? Give me a happy thought, please. So where did we get this narrative from that, hey, it's not so easy in life, there are going to be enemies, they are going to hurt you. Have a happy thought every morning. You have the thought, there's no, I need not have any enemy in life. Who's stopping us from having a thought like that? What happens in practical life is something very different. It's beyond our control, but thinking is within our control. Why would I want to waste my time and my thoughts, which is within my control, having this thought that, yeah, I think I have enemies. I mean, it's such a waste of time. How is it that spiritual practitioners overlook this? Because life should be simple, not complicated, right? You start simple. You be simple. This is my house. I'm in my house. At least in my house, I can think that I don't have enemies. There, I am inspired to be equal to all now. Whether I can do it throughout the day is a different matter. Correct? Or is it difficult? Difficult, husbands and wives? enemy within the house. It's not, right? That is why it's not enemy partner, it's life partner. When does our life become an enemy? No. So life partners, it's a good life. At least we can have the thought. Practical experiences could be a little different. So is it difficult to be equal to friends and enemies? Not really. Equipoise in honor and dishonor. I mean, look into the mirror and just, hey, I am who I am. Why do I need to be pressured by, and in the mirror, it should not be like a selfie moment, How do I look? No, I look as I am. I cannot look any different. The mirror is not going to deceive us. So we see ourselves as who we are. There's no pretense there. We don't need to kind of, upgrade ourselves. We can be happy with ourselves, with the image that we see. So where is the question of honor and dishonor here? But then, if this were so simple, how would those, the corporate structures called as counselors, how would that system work if it was so simple? We have a knack of making things complicated in our life. Heat and cold here in the house. Can you control the temperature? Can you be free from the danger of too much heat, too much cold? Can you have the temperature according to your desire? There, that is what Krishna is saying. Equal in this extreme of temperatures, heat and cold. Distress, happiness and distress. Anulom, Vilom. Breathe in happiness, let out your stress. You don't have to pay anything for that. It's your life breath, your lungs. Happiness and distress, one can be equal in that. Fame and infamy. In my house, who knows what? Unless and until, I'm always vlogging or blogging. Unless until I'm doing that. Hey world, a happy day today. This is my morning face. If we are not doing that, there's a question of being disturbed by fame or infamy. In fact, one can be easily equipoised in both, because practically it is non-existent. Free from contaminating association other than our own mind. Is there anything else we have to be concerned about? Always silent and satisfied with anything. You go to your refrigerator, see what you have. You go to your kitchen, see what you have, and you have to be satisfied with it. And if you need something, just go on your Amazon app or Whole Foods. Home delivery. Instant satisfaction. Who doesn't care for any residence? Most of you all have spent at least 6 months in the houses that you have, 6 months plus. 6 months down, after having spent 6 months in any house, you hardly care whether it's a house or it is no house. It's like, yeah, I have to just open the door to my home, go to my room, come out of my room, go to the garage. That is all that it matters. Only when you purchase a new house, you're like, that corner, this corner, is it symmetrical? Is the color like that? All the lights. 6 months in a house and it's done. See how easy it is to be a yogi. And who is fixed in knowledge and who is engaged in devotional service. Such a person is very dear to me. These are Krishna's words. So if we read these simple words and sentences that has been translated into the English language for us, there's so much scope for being enthusiastic and happy in life. Provided upstairs here, there are no cross linkages somewhere. This is clear, which is why fixed in knowledge, being dear to Krishna. So how does it help us in our presentation? What is the connection? So I have spent practically 80% of my life in the state of Maharashtra in India. इथे किती मराठी लोक आहेत? 2,000. I was asking how many people here speak Marathi. So there are two. In our Maharashtra, we are very carefree people because we know we have a Mai Bap. We have a dad and a mom. And to kaun hai? Who's that? Vithala. Before a child can speak Ai Baba, mom, dad, Maharashtra is the fortunate place where we get to hear Vithala Ai Baba, my Baba. Lord Krishna is our father, he is our mother. And that also goes across the border into Karnataka. They also love Vittal. Lord Krishna. The holy place is called as Pandharpur. From Karnataka and Andhra, people call it Pandaripur. Karnataka, Andhra, most of us are from India, so we know these states. Oh, sorry, Telangana. Telangana, and Karnataka. Yeah. And this form of Krishna, he's Krishna, right? So Krishna simply has this avid attraction. It's like he is a very needy person. He needs his devotees. So he needs to have a lot of devotees throughout so many generations. Hundreds upon thousands of devotees. Where is Pandharpur? Pandharpur is beautiful holy city on the banks of the river Chandrabhaga. This is the holy river. That part of the river is called as Chandrabhaga. It is the holy river Bhima. It comes from the Bhima Shankar mountains. That is the origin of the river Bhima. If you ever go there, that is also the tapasya bhumi of so many sages. Bhima Shankar. Beautiful holy place. Very, very peaceful. It inspires you. It kind of stimulates your latent spiritual energy. Try visiting Bhima Shankar. Just as many of us are from Telangana. When you walk up those, it's considered to be 7 hills, but practically nowadays it's not 7 hills. But when you walk up those 7 hills, the Sheshadari, your spiritual energy is ignited. Like everyone is like, Govinda, Govinda, Govinda. And then you're like, okay, all right. Because you're trying to negotiate those really steep steps, the first hill. Your lungs are out of air. Your legs, even those who are very expert at it, even their lungs give away. It is as if Anjaneya comes, the son of Vayu, he comes to Anjaneya Swami, he comes to fill up your lungs with spiritual air. You feel that. It's an experience that everyone should have. And your legs are like, this is just a first hill. There's 6 more to go. And then anyone who goes, Govinda, Govinda, Venkataramana, Govinda. There is my savior. Similarly, for Pandharpur, we walk. Walking is our national hobby for Marathi people. They love to walk. Why? Because we are always anxious to go and see Vitthal. Lord Krishna. No planning. We don't plan tickets. It's like, hey, where did this person, where is he? Where is she? Gele te. They're gone. Kute gele? Where have they gone? Maheri. You know what is Maher? We call Pandharpur Maher. You know what that means? It means that somehow or the other, we have foolishly gotten married to this material world. And just as a lady who gets married has to leave her home, we have left our home. And when we go to Pandharpur, we are going back to our mother's house, our father's house, Maher. So the material world is the in-laws' place, troublesome. Kute gele? You just wake up and you find your neighbor is gone. Gadi tithes hai, you know, the vehicle's still there, the house still there, the family member is still there. Where did this person go? Maher. Went to Pandharpur. So our national hobby is walking. Why? Because every single dust particle in that holy land of Maharashtra has been touched over thousands of generations by the beautiful lotus feet of simple-minded, devoted followers of Vitthal. Some of them have become very famous. We call them the Sant, Maharashtratle Sant. We call them the saints of Maharashtra. They've become famous. There are many stories that have not found the pages of history. Many stories. Why is that? Because typically, try to keep life very simple. That is how we live life. Keep it very simple. Perform our duties. Why? Because we have received this human form of life. This human form of life, the body that we have, is by the mercy and the hard work of so many people, the farmers, the animals, the cultivators, the the traders, hundreds upon thousands of people have contributed for my existence here in this material body. Each one of them having this faith that if they do their duty, as has been ordained by the Supreme Lord, according to the scriptures, according to certain dharmic principles, if they do their duty, then this form that I have, when this form performs some spiritual activities, a part of that punya, a part of that piety is received by all of them. Understand this culture. The culture is, if I serve someone else, if that person becomes very dear to the Lord, some piety will also be received by me. Therefore, every trader, every farmer, every housewife, every office goer is focused on doing their duty, keeping life simple. One famous saint of Maharashtra is Namadev. He took the teachings of the Holy Land of Maharashtra all the way from Maharashtra and South India to the north till Punjab. And a lot of these teachings have become part of the Sikh Panth in their Grantha. Just imagine what kind of preaching, how so much effort Namadev must have taken. Namadev's predecessor, let us say, acharyas or gurus, they contributed a lot to what we consider as devotional literatures. The kirtans that we have, there is the abhangas and there is the kirtans. The kirtans that we have is filled with so much of affection and love for the Supreme Lord. One such predecessor of Namadev, 2 generations ago, was called Joga. In our Maharashtra, Namadev is called as Nama. Tukaram is called as Tuka. And Yoga is called as Joga. Somehow or the other, maybe his parents named him Yoga. But people lovingly called him Joga. And that is also a tongue twister. Yeah, it kind of twists the tongue. So it is Joga. So this person called as Joga, since his early childhood, he was like Prahlad. When we read about Prahlad Maharaj's childhood activities, Joga was similarly inclined towards the Supreme Lord. And the reason being, since his very childhood, he had seen millions of people pass through his village on their way to Pandharpur. Millions of people, especially during Ashadi, about June, July. Because there is this very important Ekadashi that comes in Ashad, in the month of June, July. It is called as Deva Shayani Ekadashi, or called as Ashada Ekadashi. Oh my God. Children, old people, men, women, dogs, animals, everyone is like going towards Pandharpur. And their only desire is that we can reach the holy dham of Pandharpur. And if we have the Lord's blessings, take his darshan. Otherwise, we are satisfied just taking the dust of that holy place and applying it on our head and coming back. If you've never been to Pandharpur, let me tell you, literally tens upon millions of people visit Pandharpur every year, especially in Ashad. Lakhs upon lakhs. I think last year it was about 15 to 20 lakhs. Think 2 million. No, it's more than that. 10 lakh is a million, right?
Yeah.
2 million. They don't have credit cards. They don't have apps like Swiggy. We have Swiggy there. Zomato, where you can order food. They sit by the roadside. They cook right there. They clean up the place. They do not litter the place. You'll never know after 10 days that a huge crowd had passed down these roads. They don't litter. Somehow they have this civic sense. Simple villagers. And since ages, they have that. Imagine it's a small temple, like a temple here in downtown. That temple is something like that, maybe 3 times its size at the most. 2 million people over a period of 5 to 10 days. 90% of them are simply happy that they were able to come and touch the Holy Land. They're happy and satisfied with that. And they go back. Simply with the desire that we went to our Maher. We went to our home. We could visit our home. So this boy would see that all these people, and especially on Ashad Ekadashi, all of them, they simply sing and sing and sing. Their voice gets hoarse. And they dance and they dance and they dance without eating, without sleeping. Children. And none of them are being forced. They're all happily doing it. It's just amazing. It's so vibrant. It is so spiritually vibrant. You can feel that energy. And after Ekadashi, they've taken darshan. They go to a nearby place. It's about 60 kilometers. They walk because the next day, Dwadashi, they come to the temple of Bhagavanta in a place called as Barshi. Barshi is a town where Ambarish Maharaj saved Durvasa Muni. Many people in Maharashtra don't even know that, the younger generation. They read in the Srimad Bhagavatam, oh, Ambarish Maharaj, great devotee, so much surrender to the Lord. So Darshan Chakra came to save him. Where? Barshi, Bhagavanta Mandir. There's a beautiful temple of Lord Krishna, Lord Narayan. He's coming on Garuda to save Ambarish. And Lakshmi is asking him, where are you going? Where are you going? He says, I have no time to reply. Jump on. So Lakshmi jumps onto him, clings onto him. And you see the deity with Lakshmi clinging onto him. That is Bhagavanta. He's like, forget Sudarshan Chakra. I will go myself. He's already told Durvasa, I cannot do anything, but he's not satisfied. That is Bhagavanta temple. That is the history that we know of there. That Bhagavanta, Krishna himself, Lord Narayan himself was coming there. By that time, Sudarshan Chakra had done the job and Lord Narayan said, all right, since I'm already here, let me just give blessings to all these people and go back. Sudarshan has done his job. Can you imagine the ATM machine clinging on to him because Lakshmi is ATM, right? Bank. So in that place, this child grew up. Even today, if you go to Barshi, most of the people there, every family is very devoted. Somehow, they are very nice people, very nice people. If they come to know that you do not have a place to stay, they will host you. They may not have much facilities, but they will host. They won't even ask you, who are you? Where are you from? To this day, they will feed you. How do I know? I've experienced it. That is why I know. This town is a town of the great saint, where the great saint Joga grew up. 60 kilometers of Pandharpur. He was like, when will I go to Pandharpur? He would be meeting the saints. He's like, where are you going? Can I come with you? And the saints would say, Ba Kalhanes, child, you are small now. Lekra hai tu. When, as soon as he reaches Poganda age, he told his dad, I'm just going for a visit to Pandharpur. His father was an oil trader. So in time, he also took up that business. Oil traders are considered to be, in those times, because the caste system was very rigid, they're considered to be lower caste. Yesterday in Gujarat, a Narsi met them. Somehow, most of these devotees, they've all come from very humble backgrounds. Most of them. The philosophy is pakka, it's solid. Understanding of philosophy. So he goes to Pandharpur. He goes to see the Lord's beautiful form. He falls in love with the Lord's form. He starts talking to the Lord. Azun kiti divas? How many days more do I have to stay away from you? Why don't you do some jugaad? Why don't you come up with some plan? You're the Supreme Lord. Why don't you make things happen in my life? And after doing that, this is how sometimes we, in Maharashtra, we have this Varkaris Pantha tradition, the Varkari tradition. Varkari tradition simply means that if you decide to take some austerities to go and visit Pandharpur, because you have done that act, that the task of visiting there is called as Vari. And since you do that act, you're called a Varkari. It's like being a Krishna devotee. So sometimes they get a little concerned, and immediately this when they kind of voice their concern, how many days, my dear Lord? How long do I have to stay in this material world? And then they realize that we are not even qualified to express our concerns. All we can do is beg the Lord. And they immediately start begging the Lord, my dear Lord, please let me have an opportunity to serve you. Deva kaitari de na mala. Kai seva karu mi. Please let me serve you a little bit. It's beautiful. They speak pristine philosophy in Prakrit Bhasha, in the local dialect. Pristine philosophy. It's amazing. Once I was talking to someone in Pandharpur like that, and I said, तुम्हाला ब्रह्म संहिता येते का? Do you know Brahma Samhita? He's like, I only know Vittal. I only know Kirtan. But still, it seems that this is very important. Please tell me what is Brahma Samhita. And I'm like, Ishvara Parama Krishna Satchidananda. And then Govind. Chane, chane. Very nice. It's so amazing, so nice. And then Jai Hari Vittal. This is called love. Love doesn't mean that I have to love everything, to be a part of everything, so that I myself become the universal form. So every day of the year, I have to participate in some way so that I have a full yearly form of devotion. Love simply means that this person here, he hears me. I can talk to this person. I can express and have faith that things will manifest. Sometimes people define love as, there are various ways to define love. So sometimes they do it, and it seems to be like you have to first become pure. Love is pure. So if you have love, you have purity. But if you think that if you have purity and then we'll have love, we are like kind of looking at things upside down. In South India, we have a saint, Vedanta Deshika, powerful saint of our lineage, Vaishnava lineage. He says, he had a revelation. So he says, Krishna told Arjuna that, Arjun, I have given you all this knowledge, understand it, analyze it, and do what you think is best. And Vedanta Deshika, he says, Arjun was so dejected. He felt so hopeless. I have to think what I have to do. How do I even begin? Where do I begin? What is the best way? He has such hopelessness on his face. Krishna said, it's okay. Sarvadharman parityaja mamekam. You just don't worry. Don't worry about analyzing. Don't worry about understanding. Just come and love me. Just take shelter of me. Now, we take shelter when we are in danger. Therefore, we feel that when Krishna is saying take shelter, Krishna is saying that I'll save you from danger. Aham toam sarva pape mokshishyami masucha. Also, Krishna says, I'll save you from all the sinful reactions. I'll protect you from all of that. So maybe we think that, oh, Krishna is going to protect us from dangers. Vedanta Deshika says, actually, Krishna is telling Arjuna, don't worry, I'm there. I just wanted to let you have that opportunity, but if you're feeling hopeless, don't worry, I'm there. So Sarva Dharman Parityajya Mam Ekam Sharanam Vraja is like Krishna is telling Arjuna, jump on me, here, let me carry you. And then Vedanta Deshika says, and when Arjuna heard that, he was like filled with so much of hope. And then Krishna says, Aham Tvam Sarva Papebhyo Mokshesham. And Arjuna is saying, what? What kind of deal is this? I take shelter of you and you're going to protect me from all the sinful reactions. I don't like this deal. This is not what I came to you for. This is not what my love is for. And Krishna says, it's not for you, Arjuna, don't worry. Man mana bhava mat bhakta. Krishna says, just be my devotee. Just worship me. And every word that Arjun hears is, Vedanta Deshika says that Arjun is like, this is how it should be. This is what I want. I just want to be a devotee. I just want to worship, offer worship unto me. I don't want to think about being protected from sinful reactions, being protected from this or that. Don't talk to me about danger when you are here. Where is danger? So don't tell me about danger of life. Just let me love you. Srila Prabhupada, he used a very simple phrase to kind of embody the same message. Simply chant Hare Krishna and be happy. And you're like, Prabhupada says, simply chant. This is a very helpful tool that is used personally by us to let others, to help others, Yesterday I was talking to a devotee and I was telling that this is how we are. If someone tells us, I have a headache today, just chant Hare Krishna. Everything will be all right. I think I'm going to have the flu. Chant Hare Krishna. Krishna will protect you. When it comes to personal application, then we realize chant Hare Krishna and be happy are like two different geo positions. It's like chant Hare Krishna is somewhere in Patal Loka, like somewhere in the lower part of the universe, and be happy is somewhere in Brahma Loka, topmost planet. And we have to cover that entire distance. Like chant Hare Krishna, chant Hare Krishna, chant Hare Krishna, chant Hare Krishna, chant every single loka, chant Hare Krishna, chant Hare, and be happy finally. So when it comes to personal application, chant Hare Krishna and be happy is like a very, very complicated process. When it comes to offering advice, it's a very simple process. Just chant Hare Krishna. Everything will happen. Krishna will take care. And personal this thing, I have to, personal application, I have to do this, I have to do that. And Krishna also says, do your duty. So we also kind of use philosophy to justify. So that is love. Bhagavad Gita is about love. Just when you love someone, you want to worship them. When you love someone, you want to become their devotee. When you love someone, you want to fold your hands in supplication. You are my beloved. And that is what Krishna is saying. Man mana bhava mat bhakto madhyaji mam namaskuru. Krishna is saying just that. So Bhagavad Gita is full of, it is like Krishna's love letter to us. He's like, please love me. Please love me. And we are like, I don't have time. I have to first finish reading all the 700 verses, then I'll have time. And Krishna is like, please love me. No, first I become pure, then I'll do it. And Krishna is, please love me. And you're like, first I have to properly, in the proper mood, collect all the vegetables and all the grains and think that I'm going to offer this to Krishna in love. And then I'm going to prepare it. And while preparing it, I have to think that, oh, this is going to be accepted by Krishna. And then when I'm offering it, I have to kind of think that Krishna is eating it. And then I love you, Krishna. Talk about making things complicated. And then chanting Hare Krishna in one's own personal life becomes a very difficult task. Because we are not chanting Hare Krishna to love Krishna. We are chanting Hare Krishna to become pure. We are thinking that purity is an essential ingredient for love. Love by definition is pure. If love is not pure, it is not love, it is lust. As simple as that. If there's no purity in love, it is lust. How do we love Krishna? Simplicity. How does one become simple? If you want to simplify your life, what is the first thing that you do? Take all this couch, the refrigerator, all these things that I've just stuffed in my house, which I'm not using, put it in the garage, put it outside, do a garage sale, simplify everything. Isn't that what we do? That is what is called a simplify. So if you want to love Krishna and be simple in our life, have a simple lifestyle, we have to unclutter. We have to chant Krishna's name, wanting to love Krishna or awaken that love for Krishna. And when we want to love Krishna, that is when we would want to do everything which is pure. Because when you love someone, you are careful that you give them sanitized objects so that they do not get the virus. You take care of all sanitization. But if you are taking care of sanitization, you may miss out on loving someone. So love. When we speak of love, the English word, I'm not sure if it really carries so much of, it is really relatable or not. Prem is the word. Prem. Krishna. Prem. What is prem? Prem is a natural attraction that one has to one's premi or premika or beloved. That is what is prem. Whereas the English word love is like, oh, love has to be when you think about the other person, when you take care of their needs. In all the regional languages in India, when we use the word prem, we don't like prem. उनके बारे में थोड़ा सोचना चाहिए, उनकी जरूरतों के बारे में सोचना चाहिए, उसे प्रेम कहते हैं. Prem means you love someone. बस you kind of see them, you want to hug them, you want to serve them, you want to be with them. Everything else is a formality. Oh, let me make nice arrangements for them. Like the Ramayana describes Shabari's love for Lord Ram. She was a young girl, a young lass. She had run away from her house because they were getting her married. She did not want to get married. She just wanted to dedicate her life to the Supreme Lord. She ran away. And she took shelter in the sage's ashram. From a little child of 8 or 9 years, because in those days children would be married, girls would be married young, till about in her 80s, every single day. Her guru had just told her that Lord Ram will come and he'll bless you. And that after that, her guru had taken samadhi. He had gone to the spiritual, to the upper planetary systems. So she, as a little girl, she was not even in her teens. As a young girl, she thought that my guru has said that Lord Ram is going to come today. So every day she would prepare for Lord Ram, thinking that if he comes, I'm going to make him sit here and I'm going to feed him. A girl, a teenage girl, a girl in her 20s, a girl in her 30s, as she was, maturing, becoming older, and obviously she has so many other experiences of life. What did not change? Her expectation every day that today Lord Ram may come. And if the day would end, the sun would set, she wouldn't get depressed or dejected, like she wouldn't go on the wall and count every single day. It wasn't like a prison for her. Mark 1 day gone, 2 days gone, 3 days, 1 year, 2 years. None of that. She simply had this faith. My guru said that he's going to come, so he's come. If he comes, I have to serve him. Why? Because I love him. She was not thinking of Oh, I have to keep things very pure, very sanitized. I have to chant my sadhana, do my sadhana very well. All that she was doing, those were secondary tasks for her. Her primary task was simply loving the Lord with all her heart and all her mind. And she had not even seen Lord Ram. She had heard about Lord Ram. And in her 80s, because after Lord Ram visits her and he goes further south, she goes to the upper planetary systems. She leaves her body here and goes to the upper planetary systems. So, yoga or yoga. My dear Lord, Panduranga, Panduranga, hey Panduranga. My Papa, oh dear father, mother, oh Panduranga. Little mercy, please. I've heard you're very merciful. One drop, little bit. Jiva, I'll sustain my life. And then you have to see the beautiful form of Krishna and the smile of that of Lord Vittal. Somehow Lord Vittal would make his smile touch his heart, the deity, and he would feel satisfied. Sadha, sadha. I've got your blessings. You'd go back home. Years passed. Every time he would get an opportunity to come. Now, he had a very, very specific practice. Hear about that practice. Oil trader, lower caste, opportunity for education, nil. Couldn't read, couldn't ride, could do trading. There was this trading, you could do this. This was enough, 10 fingers. You didn't have decimals, $9.99. He had memorized all the 700 verses of the Bhagavad Gita. How? Every day, you're going to take bath at his home, or when you visit Pandharpur, you take baths in the Chandrabhaga, the Bhima. For us, Chandrabhaga is a sister. Like Yamuna is our mother in Vrindavan, Chandrabhaga is a sister. So just a sister takes care of the younger siblings, those who grew up in India, A brother and a sister, elder brother and elder sister is a world of difference. Elder sister is like typically another mom, another mother. Elder brother is typically like a king, a ruler, set, stand, like constantly military commander, a general, training you always. Not this, not that. The sister is like, it's all right, it's all right. Still young, still young. So elder sister, that is our Chandrabhaga. And sometimes an elder sister is very helpful, Why? Because she gives you access to many people in the family. All she has to do is just. So the mother relents, the father relents, the uncle relents. Everyone is like, okay, if she says, here. So that is why we worship the river Chandrabhaga. Because she can approach Vitthal and like, just accept him. So we are so desirous, one drop of the river Chandrabhaga. When we went to South India, we had gone to the Adi Keshava temple. There, one drop of the river, Payaswini. She also called as Papa Nashini. India. Somehow every river is surcharged with so much energy and mercy. So, you take bath, recite one verse of the Bhagavad Gita, and offer full prostrated obeisances. Pandurangaya Namaha. He knew that, although he was not literate. Pandurangaya Namaha. I am offering my obeisances to Lord Panduranga, Lord Krishna. Stand erect, chant the next verse, offer obeisances. Stand erect, chant the third verse, offer obeisances. Every single day. Which do you think is a stricter practice of sadhana? Chanting 16 rounds sitting on your sofa, or offering 700 dandavats and chanting the verses correctly too? There are different versions because over time, stories take different forms. One version is that in this way, he would offer obeisances, then wherever his head was, that is where he would stand, chant the next verse, and then begin to offer the obeisances. In this way, he would progress till the temple. And only after he had finished offering 700 obeisances to the Lord, and after chanting the verses, he would go and take darshan of the Lord every single day. And there he would start off, Vithala, how long do I have to do this? Give me mercy. 700 times I have to bend down over my senses, remember all the verses of the Bhagavad Gita. I wish Srila Prabhupada were here. He would have given us the Bhagavad Gita hard copy and I could carry it with me, but he's not here. So what can I do, Vithala? I have to remember all of those verses. I'm not even literate. You do that. When he was in 30s or 40s, one day on Janmashtami, he kind of came in like, I'm tired. I don't know what to do. I really am crazy for you. I'm crazily in love with you. I have no other aspirations in this world. Everything, everywhere I see, I simply see you, and therefore I'm doing all of my duties in life because I think that you are present there, and hence when I'm trading, I see my customer. You are there in his heart. Sometimes I even forget to ask him for money. Those times people are very honest. They would still give money. Life is a mess. Please, at least now, do something. So the Lord spoke to him. He said, I'm pleased with you. The life has been perfected. This is your last life. In a few days, you'll meet a very wonderful saint, and your life will change. Now, people like us who have a linear way of thinking, 2 plus 2 is 4, and then to 4, if you add 2 again, it should be 6. People like us, because for us, numbers do not get decayed by time, right? But if two mangoes plus 2 mangoes is 4 mangoes, and 4 mangoes plus another 2 mangoes is 6 mangoes, however, one of them turns out to be bad, you're left with 5 mangoes actually. That is life. Life is 2 plus 2 is 4, if they're mangoes or oranges, and then you get 2 more. So it seems it is 6, but actually you have 5, like the sugar cane yesterday. It seemed we had 2 canes, but we landed up with only 1. Theoretically, math is very linear. It is like very logical. Practically, it doesn't work like that. Isn't it? So here we are thinking, okay, Vittal has said your life is perfect. This is a last thing. What is this new twist to the story? Tomorrow you're going to meet someone and life is going to change. Change into what now? What else? If life has been perfected and one is going to be liberated, what more? This is how it gets interesting. Why? Because the Vedic understanding is you are here now, you'll be there tomorrow, you'll be there the next day, and one fine day you're going to come back here again. And then you go. It is not like the Vedic understanding is not like you're here, then you go here, then you go here, then one fine day you'll be there. It's never like that. It's like one fine day, it will be a full circle. Why? Because the universe is a circle. What goes around comes around. So if I'm going around, I'm going to come around again. So that is a Vedic understanding. Therefore, in the Vedic understanding, there's a possibility that 2 plus 2 becomes 4, 4 plus 2 can become 6, and finally you land up with only 2. It's quite possible. Why? Because we understand in life. I am single, I get married, now we are 2. We have 2 children, now we are 4. One day, it's quite possible it still be 3 because somebody gets married and goes off. So that is how life is. So Vedic understanding helps you be flexible. It's not about, okay, you have one life, you do well here, so you'll go to the very happy place. If you don't do well here, you'll go to a very unhappy place. That's not how it is. It's like you're right now here, you may go to a happy place, you may go to an unhappy place, you can again come back here, they can again come back here, everyone can go. It's like, that wheel of time. So hence, the Vedic understanding is not go to a happy place, save yourself from an unhappy place. It is become free from this. Happy, unhappy, happy, unhappy. Try to be who you are. Don't try to be who you're not. You're not a person who's going to be happy in a happy place. You're not a person who's going to become unhappy in an unhappy place. You're a happy person eternally. You're not going to become happy. You're not going to become unhappy. You're a happy person since the time of existence, forever. Each one of us is a very happy person. We've just somehow or the other covered ourselves with something called as illusion, and hence we are not able to see that we are happy people. We try to go to a happy place. And when we go there, we realize, yeah, there are problems there. Even here, there are problems. Like Devaloka, they're like hotline, invasion. There is an invasion. Somewhere in the world, an invasion is going on right now. So something like that. The Asuras are coming. The demonic people are coming to attack. And you're like, I'm in a happy place. Why are they coming? They should not have access. They do have access. They are the hackers. They've hacked it. Vittal. Thank you. So, the next day, maybe a couple of days, saintly personality comes from the north of India, from the holy city of Vrindavan Dham, Paramananda. He comes and sees this beautiful form of our Lord Vittal. He's so happy. People, they flock around him. Oh, a wonderful saint has come to our place. They all sit around him. Please, 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 tell us something wonderful. So he starts narrating, explaining philosophy, narrating stories about Krishna. He explains how Krishna, he plays his flute, standing under a beautiful Vangshivat tree on the banks of the river Yamuna. There are beautiful forest groves all around. The river Yamuna is simmering in the moonlight. And there Krishna, in his golden pitambar, his golden dress, and his very deep, shiny skin color, the Shyama Varna. His lips red, crimson red. They seem as if the lips are blossoming on his face. And that is where he puts his flute. And he starts playing his flute. And then he plays the flute. The wind stops blowing. The wind doesn't want to create any disturbance. The animals are stunned. The river kind of becomes very, very pacified. Everyone is mesmerized. And Yoga is listening to this and it's like, I love Krishna. I love Krishna playing the flute. Vangshi Nesta Kishala Adharam. Rupa Goswami says, Vangshi Nesta Adhara Kishalam. When he puts his Vangshi, this is a special kind of flute. To smaller flute. To his lips. The lips impart their red hue to the flute. People simply think that flute playing means we get to hear nice sound. But this is the poetry of Krishna's pastimes. The flute is so happy to receive the reddish hue being reflected from Krishna's lips. The flute is like, this is my day. Yahoo! Gmail, whatever. This is Krishna's reddish lips. The red color is reflecting off me. My day is done. Krishna, whatever sound you want to take out of me, you can bring out of me. I'm just too happy. Yoga is like, wow, this is so amazing. And then he says, Krishna goes out to the grazing fields with the calves, and these demons come, and Arishtasur comes, and Bakasur is coming, and Krishna challenge Krishna, and Krishna defeats them. And Arishtasur hasn't defeated, and Yoga is thinking, yes, that is how my lust has been defeated. And then Bakasur has been defeated, and Krishna is like, yes, that is how my pride has been crushed. He's like so excited to hear all of that. And then he says, Govinda Damodara Madhaveti. Govinda Damodara Madhaveti. He Krishna, He Yadava, He Sakheti. Govinda Damodara Madhaveti. Vikretu Kama Kila Gopakanya. Murari Pada Pita Chitta Vritti. Dadhyadikam Moha Vashad Avochat. Govinda Damodara Madhaveti. Govinda Damodara Madhaveti. Govinda Damodara Madhaveti. He Krishna, He Yadava, He Sakheti. Govinda Damodara Madhaveti. The cowherd Gopakanya, the cowherd goes. They are carrying their wares to go to the market. And they see Krishna's lotus feet, the imprints of Krishna's lotus feet. Something happens to them. Some of them have yogurt, some of them have milk, some of them have clarified butter, someone has something else. The customers approached them and they asked them, what do you have? And they say, Damodar. What? Damodar. Why? Because they've just seen the imprint of Krishna's lotus feet. Damodar. Just imagine what is happening here. Yoga is listening and is hearing the saints say that the gopis, the cowherd girls, they are offering yogurt, but rather than saying, oh, this is yogurt, they're saying Damodar. Another customer approaches another gopi and says, what do you have? She says, Govinda. What is Govinda? Govinda. Here we are spending a lifetime trying to chant Krishna's holy names. And it's like, I think I've done today's whatever amount of chanting I have to do or remembrance I have to do. Actually, kafi. I'm done. Where does Krishna say that you have to do it always? Even once. And I did it almost 1,000 names. I'm done. Till tomorrow, I don't want to see these beads again. The only thing that will make me pick up these beads, the only thing that will make me chant more than 1,000 names is if there are problems in life. Then Krishna, 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 Govinda, Damodar. But here, Vikretu Kama Kila Gopa Kanya Murari Padar Chittavritti, they have Chittavritti Arpita. The consciousness, it's no longer with them. Where is it? It is offered at the charan, at the lotus feet of Krishna. Krishna is like, what is all of this on my legs, on my feet? They're like, our consciousness? What else? Our consciousness is right here. We have deities, Jagannath, and Jagannath is wondering, we are like, he doesn't even have feet. Where do I put my consciousness? What is consciousness? What is putting our consciousness at the lotus feet of Krishna? You see, when you are completely feeling sheltered and dependent on a very great and powerful personality, you offer yourself completely, totally unto them. That is what it means to offer one's consciousness. Chitta vritti arpit. They have offered their conscious feelings to Krishna's lotus feet. How? By remembering Krishna constantly. That is their vritti. Oh, Krishna's lotus feet. Oh, Krishna's lotus feet. It's there on the ground. It's there in the mind. It's there in the heart. They're like, what do we do now? We don't belong to ourselves anymore. So who do we belong to? Hey Krishna, hey Yadava, hey Sakheti, Sakha. Our dear, 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 dearmost friend. Govinda Damodara Madhaveti. When Yoga heard this, tears flowing down his eyes. It's like, I come to Vittal every time and I'm saying, Vittal, please save me. Vittal, when is the day going to come? Why am I still not feeling close to you? Just gopis, they're like, hey Krishna, hey Yadav, hey Sakheti. They look at you, they look at you, they look at you and like, Govinda, Damodar. But this is yogurt, you say. Govinda. Govinda, Damodara Madhaviti. That is all they can think about. That is all they can see. That changes him completely. This is the change. He was qualified to be liberated. His life was perfected. What was the change needed? Awaken that intense love for Krishna. He fell at his feet and said, please accept me as a disciple. The saint said, you're a very nice person. You have received the special mercy of Lord Vittal. Simply dedicate your life to remembering him constantly chanting his names. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare. Just that. Serve. Beware. Never become proud. Never be arrogant. It is all right if you drink poison. However, it is not all right if you have pride and arrogance. It's worse than drinking poison. And pride and arrogance manifests when one gives space in one's life to aham, mameti, I and mine. When one starts feeling, I'm not getting anything, I don't have space, I need my space, I need my time. People need it. It is important. What do we do when we have a space and time? As space and time, that is something we have to consider. When we do have a space and time, and it is very important that we have our space and time, our own time. What do we do with it? Watch Netflix. It's going to be as boring as when we don't have a space and time. So when we have a space and time, when we fight for it and we get it, offer it to something which is very, very, or to someone who is very, very valuable, to an invaluable person. Never let I and mine, me and my, be a part of your existence. Since then, his life changed. This great saint was Paramananda Swami. He took those instructions so much to heart for the rest of his life that people would say that practically you are the very reflection of Paramananda Swami. So his name became Yoga Paramananda. They would call Paramananda's Yoga. So in English, it would be Yoga Paramananda. This is the famous saint whose disciple was Vishobha. Vishobha's disciple was Namdev. Life is not easy. There has to be twists. What was the twist in his life? So there are various versions of this twist. I'll just narrate one version. As I said, these stories are from, sometimes things kind of details are a little different in every narration. So one day a wealthy merchant came to that town. It was dark, raining, wasn't finding shelter. So he, Yoga Paramananda, Joga, he opened the door to him, let him have spend the night. So he was very happy with him. There's another version that this wealthy person, merchant, had come to take darshan of Lord Vitthal, and he saw him offering obeisances 700 times. So observed him for 2 to 3 days. He was inspired to serve this person. So anyways, what he gave him was a very wealthy, or very, very, not wealthy, expensive, a very expensive cloth, which he could use to cover his body. It could be a blanket, it could be a dhoti, something like that. He said, "Nako, no, thank you." He said, please accept this as a service that I am offering unto you, and please take it as a blessing of Lord Vitthal. So somehow or the other, he got convinced, according to this narration. So he was convinced, he had it, he put it on. He went the next day, took his bath, put on this new expensive cloth. of the mint cloth. He went to offer obeisances. He was like, ah, chan chan hai. He's like, oh, this is so expensive. How can I roll in the dirt with this on? Some of you, whenever you have a new dhoti, you go to the temple, you're like, no stains, please. But if it's an old dhoti or a sari, you're like, yeah, holy. It's all right. Anyways, it's the washer that is going to take care of it. So he couldn't offer obeisances. So he kind of pulled up his dhoti, thought that maybe I'll offer obeisances on my knees. When he went to offer obeisances on his knees, the dhoti slipped and he's like, no. So he stood up and offered his obeisances. He chanted a verse, standing up, offered his obeisance, standing up. This way went to the temple. That day he was feeling something is different. Something is missing. Ping. Flashback. Flashback to one day before. And he's like, yesterday I was in a different space. Today I'm like in a different universe. What is happening? And immediately he understood. This thing has become an obstacle. He's like, Vitala, what is this? Why so many tests? He said, but still I'm your devotee. I'm going to do one better. So he went to the banks of the river. He looked for a needy person and he said, can you give me your old cloth and I'll exchange it for this? He's like, sire, sir, Sakai, early morning, why are you trying to make fun of me? Why, I know you are not going to give me that new cloth. He's like, no, really, take it. So I took that cloth, exchanged it, put it on. And then he could offer his obeisances. And then he said, well, this is not enough. This isn't enough. I stopped offering obeisances. So now just by giving up this cloth and receiving another cloth, which makes it easier for me to offer obeisances, doesn't like clear the debt. So I went to a farm nearby. There used to be oxen in those days. He took some rope, tied himself to those oxen, tied his legs with one end of the rope, and the other end he tied it around the oxen. And then he gave the oxen, couple of oxen they were, couple of oxen, gave them a slap. They started running. He was dragged behind. And when they kind of felt there's something different, this was not a plow. So the animals got scared. They wouldn't stop running, and he was being dragged through the fields, through the thorns, through the thickets, through bushes, this way and that. This entire skin kind of, it was not just being scraped, it was being ripped. It's not easy. Have you ever been there? I know what it is. When you get dragged, my God, you feel so helpless. You just get beaten up. He was practically lifeless. Practically. At one point of time, when your prana, your life air feels that this body cannot sustain me. That is when it just says, bye, I'm leaving. I cannot live here anymore. That is death. That is where he was. Suddenly, a young farm lad appeared there, a farm boy. That is a technique they use to calm down cattle. Stop. He made the oxen stop. He said, Veda Manus, you mad person. What is this? You'll die. He couldn't. He untied him. And then he just waved his hand over his body. Viola. It was like skin transplantation. He had a new body. And the young lad said, "Are you mad? Is this your body? This is my body." Vittal, the Lord had appeared. He said, "This is my body. Don't dare to do this again. This isn't your property. This is my property. I reside there in the heart. Don't you dare do this again." He said, "This is what it takes to have your darshan like this." Anyways, thank you so much, Vittal. He spent the rest of his life singing the glories of Lord Vittal. So, when we read that verse, how to be dear to Krishna? It's very simple. Simply chant Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare, and be happy. My God, I really took my chances with all of you. You've been like, you couldn't move from here. It's after 2 years that I have had a full house. It's like a hungry person has a feast. It's been virtual till now, really. This is the first in-person class that I've given since the pandemic started. So seek your forgiveness for putting you through this long session. So any questions, any comments? None? Prashad is there. If there is a question, Prashad is right. Right now, we are going for Prashad. Someone is online, wanted to ask a question? Okay. So no Akashvani, voice in the sky. So we'll stop. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Gaura Bhakta Vrinda ki jai, Nitai Gaura Premanande. Hare Krishna.